Hey y'all. I did a video, but I don't know if I did one for YouTube. So I'm back, as you can see. Chicago Zine Fest was great. It was everything that I wanted and more. The community was very open and welcoming, and me being who I am, like, not being nervous about just walking up to people and talking to them, it was very welcoming to me. People definitely move a mile a minute out there. It's a big city, so everybody's in a hurry, but the vibe that you get from meeting people at Chicago Zine Fest or at any other type of event, it'll be different from when you talk to them outside of the fest one-on-one. You have more time to settle down. The energy is a lot less pumped, so that's fine. But, like, even with that, I felt like the community was super epic and open and honest, and it was great, and it was refreshing. I did karaoke, and it was, from my opinion, it was not my best work because I really should have taken a nap before I went to karaoke, because as soon as I got on stage, my body was immediately like, no, you're tired. So I couldn't sing and dance at the same time the way I like to, but I think that I still impressed the crowd, so that's what matters. But if me at, like, seriously heading towards 50% was good, wait until you see me at 100% after I've taken an actual nap. Because we did a lot of walking around and expended a lot of energy getting around Chicago, because where we were was an hour away on public transportation, 30 minutes away by car from everything else, and it was still inner city Chicago. That's how spread out it is, and I did not expect that. You really have to go much further out of Chicago to get to the suburbs. And as far as moving goes, I'm still very much considering Chicago because the community out there is just much better. It's much more welcoming and open in my type of community, whereas here the community is more reclusive, and just a lot of other issues with mostly with the passive aggressiveness and how reclusive people are. Because if I walk up to people that I don't know, they look at me funny. Out there, they were like, oh, a person we don't know? Cool, hi, how are you? And of course, I have manners, and I know how to introduce myself and stuff. So that's definitely something that I want. But I don't want to rush into it just being blinded by how refreshing that was versus how reclusive it is here to make a huge mistake, because I'm also not really the mile a minute type. I could definitely force myself to keep up, but I would need to be stable to be able to keep my head on my shoulders, basically. So it doesn't seem like it would be a great idea to go out to Chicago with the usual method that I use, is just to go out and see what happens and be okay with sleeping outside. I feel like that worked in Nashville a lot better than it worked here. I mean, a lot better than it would work here, because there were plenty of places to sleep outside here. I found that one spot in Nashville, but, like, the fact that I would have to go so far out of Chicago to be able to get, like, peace and quiet, that's a deterrent. But I don't know what the shelters are like out there. Maybe the shelters are cool. It's been a long time since I've been in a shelter in a major city. But I'm willing to give it another shot for Chicago, but I would definitely have to have other things going on. And I would rather move into a place. I'm going to see what it looks like to look for a job in Chicago remotely, and try to be set up before I get out there, really, because that seems like a better option. But, you know, I go where the wind blows, so, like, if I'm not satisfied with how long the wait is, I'm just going to go out there. At the same time, I did apply for a store that is not far from where I am now, back here in good old Minneapolis, and see what happens with that, and see what happens with my living situation here. So I'm not necessarily really jumping the gun on Chicago, because it seems like a very dangerous place to go if you don't have a place to go and money, basically. I mean, well, I shouldn't say dangerous, but it's definitely, some places are more inconvenient than others to try to get around with limited resources, and I feel like Chicago would be especially tough. At the same time, it would probably also be super easy because there are so many people. There's always something to do. I might be able to find something to pull together in a month, and summer's the best time to do it. Chicago does get cold in winter. Of course, not as brutally cold as Minneapolis, because first of all, we're much further north. But the lake effect definitely has an impact on the environment, which probably comes with its own things that where I am in Minneapolis doesn't have. But being right next to that huge lake like that probably does a lot. But then it's immediately warmer because it's much further south when winter's over. So I'm also considering the weather. But I've decided to be in a reasonable hurry. I want to see what happens with the store, and I'm not going to take any positions that I don't want. So I'm going to apply for 2 positions there. That'll up my chances for being hired. But I'm not going to let them put me in the position that they want me to be in and say that they're going to lay me over for the other positions. And then I just end up never getting that position, because that happens a lot too. Not just here, but like employers are scum. So just not letting them take advantage of me to put me where they want me to be. I'm going to go where I want to go. And if they don't hire me for what I want, I go to Chicago. I'm sure someone out there will hire me for what I want to do. Madison, Wisconsin was interesting. Apparently the white people have never seen black people before, so I got plenty of stares. On our way back, we passed through Milwaukee, and that shit was creepy. We went into an area where the Troops Cafe is, and it's exactly what it sounds like because it has the emblems outside. And then we went out to another place. I'm gonna stop mentioning brands and stores because they don't pay me to. And like we were like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of Milwaukee. I'm ready to pee and get the fuck out of here, and we'll go find food somewhere else. Let's just go. But Wisconsin's kind of a mess. I mean, if you keep up with politics, you know Wisconsin's fucking wrecked. So there's no way I would. I mean, there are great people there. I met some of them. But no, Wisconsin's just not a livable situation for me with what's going on out there. But blessed be to anybody who does decide to build a life in Wisconsin that is has a similar situation to mine. And I think that's about it as far as travels are concerned and going and staying. But there are definitely things here at the house that we need to talk about. Which also factors into the go and stay. So we'll just see how that goes, and I'm looking forward to the future and all the changes that it has to bring, because no matter what happens, it's not going to stay the same as it is now. See y'all later. Take care of each other and yourselves, and kill your local rapist. Bye-bye.